like the way it sounds, Fruity?
I'm on my way to Brooklyn, starting the apartment hunt right now. This is the first apartment I'm looking at with my friend Wilson, aka Willie Walnuts. We are looking in the Williamsburg area. I'll be there in about 20 minutes. Once we get there, I'll take you through a tour, but I don't want to drive on the highway and do this, so bye.
Lay back, blowing fire like dragon. Man, I'm flying past Saturn. Fuck out of here like I ain't that savage. 2 Uzis and a rifle. It's like I'm at the studio with Michael. You can hear me dancing on the beat. Bam, bam, about to put a mansion on the beach. 100 Latins in your lobby. That's what happens when you fuck around with body. And I put that on my mommy. I will never give my heart to a daddy. If I could just make a dance that goes with this song, then I'ma be on. Basic bitches gon' dance to it. Basic bitches every
Kitchen.
They're like, I got this one apartment on South 5th, it's on the first floor. It has like a decent living room, not as substantial as what we're seeing now, but bedrooms are a lot smaller. Yeah. It's like what's very important to you is like big bedrooms. This is the only spot that I got. Okay. A lot of tenants live here for like 2+ years.
Yeah, you were saying that it's like, it was on the market for a long time.
Yeah, like it's a good deal. It really is. And you won't find a space in this area for this price, that's for sure.
Willie's hungry. What are these?
Buns?
You order buns? Wait, are they just like buttered buns?
Filled with some shit.
Why are these so colored weird? This is absurd. All right, so we're done looking at the apartment. We say some dumplings. Wilson had like 47 of them. For some reason, I tried to order like 2 assorted dumplings, or like 2 dumplings of this, 2 dumplings of that. For some reason, the lady was like, you know, if you order that, that's 8 of each. I'm like, how the fuck is math different in Brooklyn? In Brooklyn? That was the first and only apartment we looked at, and I think we're ready to fucking cop. According to your Instagram poll, my Instagram poll that you guys voted on, y'all want me to cop it. So I gotta do what the people want me to do. Although I do normally fade the public, so I wouldn't get it. But I'm gonna go ahead and probably grab the apartment. Say that casually, like it's a fucking something at the grocery store. We're gonna look over the contract and all that kind of stuff tonight in terms of like pricing, what we have to put up for the real estate agent and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a really cool area. It's in Williamsburg, which is one of the more popular areas. It's probably the most popular area in Brooklyn for people my age, mid-20s. Really cool apartment. I mean, it's got a big ass living room, big kitchen, 2 bedrooms. My bedroom doesn't have an actual window looking outside, but I don't really plan on being, since we have the living room and the kitchen and stuff, I probably won't be in my room too much. Really all I needed was an open space to put my desk, as y'all know it as the HQ, and it's right in front of like actual natural lighting, which is perfect because that comes in good for videos. Yeah, man, it's definitely, I mean, economically speaking, it's definitely not the best move for me business-wise, because when you're starting a business, especially in the first couple of years, you should probably be investing all of your income and your money back into the business if you don't have to pay an expensive rent, if you are blessed, as the kids would say. But I'm ready to make this move. You know, I think it's just good for my peace of mind. I think for my mental state, it'll be good just for my life, and I think I'll be able to put out better content overall and just experience a lot more shit, man. I'm ready to take on the world, people. Super excited. If anything, we'll be moving in April 1st. Either March 15th or April 1st will be the move-in date. So it's in either a month or a month and a half from today that I'm filming this, but you'll probably see this vlog in 2 weeks. So it might not be, so it'll be in like 2 weeks or a month. But yeah, so I want to give y'all an update. If I do look at any other apartments, I'll let y'all know, but I'm pretty sure we're ready to fucking roll with this one, baby. few updates. I believe the last clip was us visiting the apartment. This is a few days later. We got the apartment. So we put our applications through later that night or maybe the next day. And we heard back from the real estate agent 2 days ago maybe. And apartment's locked up. So your man's officially moving to Crooklyn. We didn't sign the lease or anything yet because my future roommate is in fucking Amsterdam right now. Don't ask me why. So that's update number 1. New HQ coming soon. Moving date is April 1st, so in like 40 days. Between now and then, I got a lot of shit to handle. Obviously, I have all the Monday interviews, all the content I normally put out. I'm going to Florida next week, Friday, February 22nd. So if you're watching this on the Wednesday or Thursday, the 20th or the 21st, then I will be leaving for Florida Friday. My friend Steve, obviously you all know Steve if you watch my vlogs. Steve's dad just bought a house in Orlando next to like where Disney and the Universal parks and stuff are. So I'm gonna fly. He was already going to visit the new house, so I'm flying down with him and we're gonna stay in Orlando from the 22nd, I think, until the Monday. And then I'm flying from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale because my grandparents also live in Florida. So I'm going there for like a week, Friday, Thursday. Half of it with Steve's family. By the parks, we'll probably hit Universal and shit, so that'll be some good content for next vlog. And then I'll be with my grandparents for like 3 or 4 days. Then we fly and bike to the HQ. I mean, it'll pretty much be March 1st by the time I get back. And then March is just grind month. And I thought of another product that I want to come out with that I think could be good and very supplemental to a lot of my audience. Now, every summer I do the draft guide, right? The all-purpose fantasy football draft guide where I include all my sleepers, busts, must-draft players, my rankings, shit like that. I want to do one because obviously, you know, fantasy is getting to the point where it's so popular, and you know, I talk about how I want my brand to be like a lifestyle brand, and I want to cover fantasy all year round because that's really the direction it's going. And people are like watching. I've been putting out content already for 2019, and people are like loving it. They're like, dude, you got me watching fucking rankings videos in February when obviously we don't draft for another 6 months, but people are loving it, right? And if I can if I have 500 people watching my stuff right now consistently, if every video I put out right now is 500 people watching every one of them, people say you only need 1,000 true fans. That's half of them right there. And if I have all those people that follow me throughout the entire summer, by the time I drop the draft guide, every one of them is gonna buy it because they trust what I say. Like, they value what I'm saying, and not from like a scammy, spammy fucking point of view. But like, if for 6 months they watch my videos and they're like, damn, this kid fucking grinds, he gives out really, really good information, why would I not buy his draft guide for $25, $30, right? Because it's just gonna be what he's been giving me for free for 6 months, but even amplified, right? It's gonna be improved every single year. So what I'm gonna do is also put together a rookie draft guide. College players coming out for the draft now. So myself, Snacks, and Animal are going to the NFL draft at the end of April, 25th to 27th. So any of y'all, first of all, wanna go to the draft and just meet up, do that. If y'all are from Nashville or Tennessee or in the area or whatever, drop a comment down below, let me know, and we'll try to do a meetup with some of the audience if we have enough people there. I think I could put together a draft guide that's semi-similar to the regular draft guide and sell that as a separate product, right? Because the draft guide usually sells from the months of like May through August, but the NFL draft is at the end of April. So if I could have a product up and going from March to April, that kind of helps, you know, figure out a monetization plan in these off months, as well as putting out more content on Patreon, trying to drive more monthly subscription revenue. That is something that I need to be doing, because if I can have something coming in every single month, that would really like take care of a lot of the months that are very down in terms of revenue. Well, I've been putting out content like consistently, almost like 5 to 6 videos a week. I've had a lot of good plans in the works right now for thinking of different monetization drivers and stuff. Another thing, you know, if any of you guys follow Fantasy Football Advice, me and those two kids, Darian and Nick, have been cool since they started their channel anyways, but I was talking to Darian on Twitter, like just through Twitter DMs last week, and we had talked for a while, and we were talking, you know, the channels and just business and stuff. What's crazy is I thought that my affiliate deal with draft.com was good, right? $30 per sign up. So anyone that uses my promo code, I get a kickback of $30. They have a setup with DraftKings where they get a $50 kickback on anyone that uses their sign up. And I've seen this a lot. Like, there will be, throughout the off season, someone in the fantasy industry sells their product or service that they normally charge users, like, I guess whatever they sell is like really like $30 to $40. They're like, hey, if you sign up to DraftKings with a new account and deposit $10, you'll get not only that $10 for DraftKings, but you'll get our draft guide absolutely free, and you'll get like a few other things. And this is DraftKings' way of getting new users to their platform, and I guess that they've done obviously the lifetime value of what each customer is worth to them, and it's far more than $50, I'm assuming. So it's a great fucking deal for any audience member, because they're only depositing $10 to DraftKings, but now they get to use that $10 as well as get, you know, the draft guide from whatever fantasy person in the industry is selling them that normally they'd have to pay $30, $40, $50 for, right? So it works out for all parties involved. DraftKings gets a new customer, me as an industry member gets a $50 kickback from DraftKings, and then the user gets a very, very heavily discounted product based on just depositing $10. So I want to reach out to DraftKings because, you know, I sold over 500 copies of my draft guide last year. So I expect that amount to hopefully, you know, increase by 50%, if not 100%. Maybe we could sell 1,000 copies of it this year, right? I don't think that's absurd because my audience has already doubled by now, and I've started putting out quality content much earlier. So if I can do that with DraftKings, right, and get a $50 kickback, and it's gonna be the same thing. I'll be like, guys, get my draft guide, but instead of actually buying it through my website, all you gotta do is sign up through a new DraftKings account, deposit $10, and if 1,000 people do that and I get a $50 kickback, obviously you can do the math, that's $50,000 in revenue. Now, obviously shit ain't always peaches and cream, so I don't know if that's gonna work out so smoothly, but like there's a huge, and Darian was telling me like they got 1,000 signups last year, so they made 50K just off this DraftKings signup. And that's serious fucking money. That money that they made just through those signups is more than probably like 80% of the dudes on Twitter with fucking blue check marks that are in the fantasy industry. So tons of opportunity available, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons. So things are looking good. I did start running, you know, actually last week I was talking about how building an email list is super important because then you own your customers' information. However, if you're building through YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, if one of those, you know, starts dying down, if the organic reach starts going to shit, just like Facebook. If you grew a Facebook page, like an organic Facebook page, like 7 years ago, 9 years ago, when they were very popular, right? Now, organic reach doesn't hit anything, right? Organic means that you're not paying for advertising. So if you own a page, right? If you are the owner of a random organic page, right? It might be your business page, and you just post something to the page, only 5 to 10% of people in that group will actually see it on their timeline. Facebook has almost strictly moved over to using their timeline for paid advertising. So that is eventually going to happen with Instagram and Twitter, and like all of these platforms are eventually going to hit that point where organic reach is dead. So if you are relying on organic reach, if you got popular through Facebook and you did not diversify where your audience was, or you did not build an email list, you're fucked right now because your audience doesn't see anything you post. So I was talking about building up an email list. I have an email list of about 2,000, and I started doing my rankings video, right? Top 10 running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends. And in the videos, I would say something like, if you want my full list of top 25 rankings, click the link down below. It would take you to a landing page where they could sign up via an email list. And basically so far, I'll show you the numbers. And I started putting out the videos. It's Friday right now, so I started putting them out last Tuesday. So it's been a little over a week. Sign in real quick to lead pages. This is the lead page software I use. On the top 25 rankings landing page, we have, I hope you guys can see that, 237 conversions, so that's 237 emails. On the wide receiver ones, we got 86. The quarterback ones, we have 26, and tight ends, we have 5 so far, because those were just put out very recently, and plus those positions just in general are less popular and get less views on the YouTube channel. So that is nearly, what the fuck is that? Doing the math, 230, 325. That's over 350 email addresses I just added to my list within the span of a week and a half, absolutely free, just by putting out content. Businesses would kill to add 350 email addresses to their email list. One thing I need to get better at is actually email marketing. Email marketing is tough because you want to just give out value in those emails. You don't just want to spam people with offers, and I just need to get better at that. Knowing, not necessarily like copy within the email, but knowing what sequences I should be doing. Like, as soon as someone signs up, should the next email they get be a welcome email, or should the next email just be like letting them know what kind of products I do offer, or should the next email be a string of like 5 sequenced emails in a row being like, hey, this is my favorite blah, and then tomorrow is gonna be my second favorite blah, you know, things like that. So that's something I need to get better at, and I think I can capitalize on that because I'm gonna be doing things like adding to my email address list all summer, which hopefully by the time, you know, August, September hits, I will be able to you know, grow my list to like 5 or 10,000. And by that point, you have a serious email list that you can do a lot of things with. So a lot of awesome things in the works. Life's about to move quickly. Things are about to get freaking lit. I think the next clip will probably be a whiteboard session of me explaining in a degree Facebook and Instagram ads for any of y'all that happen to be interested or maybe want to start running them for your small business. Welcome, Bike, to another whiteboard session with your man Nicholas. We are going to be talking about Facebook and Instagram ads today for a variety of reasons. One, if you have a brand or run a small business, you should be using them. If you have a budget for marketing, if you're putting your marketing budget elsewhere, you're doing it wrong. Two, this is what I did prior to becoming a full-time content creator. I was running Facebook and Instagram ads for companies, for e-commerce businesses, for companies that did anything pretty much online, anyone that had an online service or a product or whatever. And three, because I just started running Facebook and Instagram ads for the Big Dogs brand. So, very relevant topic for me right now. The thing to get across when it comes to Instagram and Facebook advertising. Now, I'm not talking about just being on someone's, like, if I were running Facebook and Instagram ads for a company, that doesn't mean that I'm on their Instagram page and posting their pictures and shit like that. That's organic. So there's organic and then there's paid traffic. I did paid traffic. That's regular paid advertisements. So commercials, billboards, radio advertisements, you have to pay for all those. Same things with this Facebook and Instagram. Now, that's where the eyeballs are, right? Marketing is that simple. I mean, it's not easy, but it's simple. Find out where the eyeballs are, you find out where the attention is, you deliver your message there. If your message is good, and if you are able to make content that is native to where you are delivering the message and it's good, it will usually work. It will resonate in a sense. However, now consumers and your audience they're not naive, right? They're smart. They understand that for the most part, they are always being marketed towards, right? So you have to be just as smart, right? And you can't try to trick them. You have to genuinely value them and genuinely care about them and almost nurture them like an actual relationship. The DR, right? Direct response. For a long time, there was this battle in the marketing world where it was like direct response versus branding. And some teams wanted to spend just on direct response, some teams just on sales, on branding. And a direct response is you putting out an advertisement, and the goal of the advertisement is to get a direct response. Like, you want someone to buy on the spot, or you want someone to give you their email on the spot, or something like that. Whereas branding, of course, is, you know, giving the audience member value for them getting to know you and then moving them down the funnel, right? So you hear the term marketing funnel a lot, and this is because you have to use a funnel in today's world, and they call it a funnel because it's shaped like a fucking funnel. Let me give you an example. The top of the funnel is very big, very wide, right? That's gonna be your initial audience. There's a cold audience and there's a warm audience. Cold audience are people that have never heard of you, are people that don't know your brand, don't know what you sell, don't know who you are. So when you initially start shooting out advertisements, the first advertisement should be to just give out value to the audience. Tell them who you are, show them what you do, what you're good at, right? So just so they know who you are, because they're being bombarded and spammed left and right all the fucking time with advertisements. So you need a way to stand out, and the only way you could stand out is through some kind of relationship, right? Customers don't have loyalty to anyone unless they have an emotional connection to you, right? There's no reason that someone would buy this over this if the price is you know, different, or the quality of the product is different. But if they have an emotional connection to you, then the likelihood of them purchasing again from you is going to be much higher. So the cold audience is people that you've never heard of, never seen before, right? And what you would do is, in Facebook and Instagram, the reason that these platforms are so good, first of all, Facebook owns Instagram. And Instagram is the most popular social platform in the world. So for those of y'all that keep selling stock in Facebook, you're gonna be fucking wrong. I promise you, Instagram is going to keep that place afloat. Inside the marketing platform, it's business.facebook.com. Anyone can go in there and mess around. Just make a business Facebook page and you can go inside of the advertising platform. Now you can't run ads obviously unless you pay for them, but you can go inside there, business.facebook.com. And what you do, right, there's three steps in creating an ad. There's the campaign, there's the ad set, and then there's the ad. So the campaign level is you choosing your goal. You could choose brand awareness, you could choose conversions, which is sales or, you know, checkout or any of these other different things that, you know, someone actually converted on something. And then you could choose lead generation, so email addresses. So campaign is the overall like objective, what you're trying to do. Then you move over to the ad set. Now the ad set is all about targeting, who your audience is. So within there, you choose the age, the demographic, the location, but you have to get way more in depth with that stuff. The thing that's great about Facebook and Instagram advertising is the level of detail, the crazy detail you can get when it comes to targeting. So if I'm a health food store in Manhattan, New York, and I want to drive more foot traffic into my store, I would make a video and put it on Facebook and target it at people aged 21 to 40 living inside Manhattan that have an interest in, and then I would, you know, include 4 or 5 of the different gyms that are in the area, maybe some bodybuilding, nutrition brands like Optimum Nutrition and maybe GNC and things like that. And that's very basic, but you can get a lot of the time it's about getting more into the psychology, like what kind of books do these people read, what kind of magazines do they read, what kind of TV shows do they watch, things like that. You can make lookalikes as well. So basically, if you have a custom audience, right, like I have an audience of everyone that purchased my draft guide last year, and I could upload that into Facebook and they can make a lookalike audience out of that. Now, a lookalike audience is a way to scale your audience. So say 500 people purchase my draft guide, which is, you know, accurate. I upload that audience into Facebook. They find 2 million people. A lookalike is 2 million people. The top 1% of people in the entire country that are most similar to this audience. Lookalikes are a great way to scale within Facebook. I run a lot to lookalike because they're completely cold, right? They're very, very similar to my draft guide purchasers, but they are not them. They are just people who have very similar characteristics, and that's all Facebook's algorithm. They do that, whether it's, you know, the salary that they make, are they homeowners, what kind of cell phones do they use? They take everything into account to make the audience as similar as possible. So lookalike is a great audience that I use as a cold audience. But then if I'm doing just an audience targeting, I'd go on Facebook and I'd say anyone that likes Yahoo Fantasy Sports, ESPN Fantasy Sports, Barstool, right? Because that's kind of related to my audience as well. It's the same kind of, you know, vibe and feel. And then from there, like once you start running the ads, you'll see what works, what's successful, and you'll test around with different audiences, and you can test different placements. Do I only want people who use their phone to see it? Do I only want people on the desktop to see it? Do I only want, you know, this, that, and the fucking other thing? And you could run it only on Tuesdays or only on Saturdays. The level of granularity is insane. So campaign is the objective. Ad sets are the audience and the targeting. And then when you get to ad, it's the actual ad itself. So it's the creative and the copy. Creative just means the image or the video that you're using. Copy means the text. So copywriting. The text above, the text on the headline, the text underneath. And all of these things are meticulously tested by big marketing companies. You would not believe that when you see these ads on your feed, how much testing goes into just the headline, testing different things. Facebook has made it so easy that they make this thing called dynamic creative, where you could literally go into the ad, you could insert, I think the maximum you could do is 10 different pieces of creative, 10 different headlines, 10 different text above it, and it will shoot out all the combinations, right? Whatever 10 times 10 times 10 is, that's like 1,000,000 combinations, and it will eventually start to narrow down which is the best combination for headline, text, and image, and it will start putting more money towards that one, right? So Facebook is coming out with all these new tools and these new features that make it a lot better for advertisers to advertise. However, the platform itself is getting much more difficult to advertise on. It was like unbelievably cheap to advertise on, like an amazing deal if you were a brand or a company just last summer. But now it's getting more expensive. Like I had a client that I was working with up until recently where, you know, last year we absolutely killed it. Like for every dollar we were putting into Facebook, we were getting like $8 to $10 back on revenue. This summer, it still went well, but it was a little difficult to differentiate, probably because there's more new competitors in the industry, but because Facebook and Instagram advertising itself is getting more expensive because the bigger brands, right? When you're a smaller company and you're putting, I don't know, $500 a month into it, that doesn't really do anything to Facebook or Instagram, right? But when these bigger brands like fucking Coca-Cola or I don't know, anything, Dell, you know, they are like, you know what? Social media marketing seems to be where it's at. Like Facebook and Instagram marketing is where we should be putting our marketing money, not in commercials anymore, because when people are watching TV, one, they don't watch commercials, they stream everything. Two, as soon as a commercial comes on, what do? You just fucking put your cell phone up and look at your cell phone. You don't care about the commercials. They're eventually realizing that Instagram and stuff like that, like putting a really good piece of content or video on Instagram is the best form of advertising. Once you get those companies start to shifting over, guess what? It's not only the $500 that the small businesses a month put in, but now Coca-Cola is putting their $5 million a month marketing budget into Facebook and Instagram. So you're now competing for those slots, right? There's only a certain amount, there's only a certain quantity of advertisement spots that you can put your personal advertisement in. If there's X, Y, Z, right? These are people. Person X, person Y, person Z are all your ideal people that you want to get your ad in front of, right? And you did your targeting great and you did your whatever great. Guess what? That might have worked a year ago, but now the Coca-Cola is spending $50 fucking million a year on their marketing. Maybe person Y is also Coca-Cola's ideal person, right? And instead of, you know, on fucking November 13th at 3:11 p.m. when they scroll down their feed and they would have seen your advertisement, they see Coca-Cola's instead. Now, the more big businesses that come in, the more that happens and the more you have to pay to get in front of these people. And this is just a normal marketing cycle. This will always happen. It happened with Google AdWords. It's happening with Instagram and Facebook. It'll happen with whatever the fuck the next marketing thing is. That's how it works. But there's still a big lapse. They're still very, 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 very cheap. Right now, I'm personally running ads, and fantasy football is such a good industry to be in for these type of ads because they're engaging. If you're gonna be posting on social media, you have to remember social is the key word here. You're not selling, you're trying to be social with your audience. So when I put out, right, basically, you know, we'll get into the funnel a little bit. The top of the funnel is about finding your cold audience. You make your audience, right? For instance, mine is people who, like, for very basic layman's terms, we'll just pretend this is an audience of me, people who are 21 to 45. I don't put anything younger than 21 because I think the likelihood of, right, I mean, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do with these advertisements is sell something, right? You do, at the end of the funnel down here, you do want to sell something, but in the beginning, you want to make sure that you're putting the right audience members in that might purchase. So anyone under the age of 21, in my mind, you know, if you're like 16, you're probably not going to purchase something because you just don't have a lot of money in your life at that point. Anyone over the age of 45 is probably not really that into fantasy football, whatever. I just think the most relevant age for my targeting is 21 to 45. That's what I target. And you could look at these things and break them down. They have tools within Facebook to see where the majority of your audience is. So we'll go people who like ESPN and people who like Barstool. Anyone that fits into that 21 to 45, people like ESPN and Barstool. Sometimes I'll put male only, but sometimes I'll use male and female both, and I'll just mess around and see what works. So you start shooting an advertisement out, and sometimes I'll just upload the cold audiences. Video is a very, very, very good ad. The first thing that people should see is usually a video. So I would literally upload some of the YouTube content that I've put out. I would upload the top 10 wide receiver rankings or the top 10 running back rankings. Those are the two advertisements I have running right now. And I've scaled up too much where I'm paying too much right now. I'm using, I think my budget is like $15 a day, where I wanted to do it for $5 a day. And that's gonna be too expensive over the long run. So I gotta scale down a little bit. So we shoot out wide receiver rankings, running back rankings, right? The whole point of those videos has absolutely nothing to do with selling. The whole point is to introduce them to your brand. And then the best part about Facebook and Instagram is the ability to make custom audiences. Retargeting. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard the word retargeting or whatever. Retargeting is being able to send another ad out to anyone that's seen this video. It's the reason that you have on the side of the websites that you go on, as soon as you get off Amazon, as soon as you get off Foot Locker, as soon as you get off Nordstrom, exactly what you're looking at is now on the side of your fucking website feed, right? Because they track you with pixels, with cookies. They put a cookie on the page that you were just looking at, right? A cookie is a piece of code on the back end of a website, like you're coding the website. They put a cookie on it. It fires as soon as you land on the website, telling you, person in IP address 94 whatever loved a black plain t-shirt. We are going to retarget him with ads. And for the most part, those people have to be in like an ad server connected with whatever website that you're going on, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's what you can do on Facebook very well. But you know, you keep that within Facebook, right? The first ad that they see on Facebook would be this. The next ad maybe they see on Instagram would be this. And it works its way down the funnel. So they turn from a cold audience into a warm audience, right? And the farther down you get down the funnel, the warmer they are. Within Facebook and Instagram, you can make custom audiences, and you could do this in a million number of ways. You can make an audience specifically of people that have landed on your website, people that specifically watched 3 seconds of this video, watched 10 seconds of this video, watched 25%, 50%, 75%, 95% of this video. You can make an audience of people that have landed on a specific blog post and watched 10% or 10 seconds of this video. So you can get ridiculously granular. What I'm doing for the most part, making audiences that 10-second video views. So I have these two shooting out to cold audiences. Anyone that watches 10 seconds of either of these goes into a warm audience. Goes into this one down here. I'm also running Instagram story ads. So these two are solely on Facebook, not using Instagram, because you can't put videos that are longer than a minute on Instagram as a video post. I think they lengthened that out to 2 minutes now. And I see people putting their IGTV stories or their IGTV creatives on Instagram, so I'm gonna have to mess around. I might be able to put longer form videos, which would be fucking huge for advertising, but these are Facebook only, but I also have Instagram story ads running. Now, Instagram stories have become pretty much more popular than the feed nowadays. People spend more time on the stories, and if you're on Instagram, think about that. The first thing you do as soon as you get on is, even if it's because you have OCD, you clear away the stories. But the sponsored ads in between that, if you can get something that hooks the eye, it's so easy for someone to just read it, boom, swipe up real quick. So Instagram stories is another great underutilized asset. Now I tested it, Instagram stories versus the feed. And what I did was I put this creative that I posted organically on Instagram, and I ran it on the feed, and then I ran it on the, I ran on the feed, and there's a button that says learn more, so they can click it to go elsewhere, wherever I want to send them to. And then I ran it on the stories where it says swipe up. Now, in the feed, obviously you can put the text underneath, so you can like give them an idea of what you're even talking about, or where you want them to go, or what message you want to deliver. On the story, the only thing is like you can't put any copy in that, any text in your story, right? So, I mean, you can in a sense, but like not a lot. So I found out that it cost me about 45 cents per click if I ran Instagram feed ads versus about, I think we're running at 10 cents a click for Instagram story ads, or 10 cents per swipe up. So we have IG story as well, and that's going to a cold audience. So you can make a custom audience based on anyone that's engaged with your Instagram profile or your Facebook profile. And engaged just literally means visited your profile, liked one of your pictures, clicked on the more comments, whatever, anything like that engaged at all with your profile would put them into this custom audience. So I have these 3 custom audiences right now, and it's not a deep funnel because I don't have a lot of money to spend with, right? My budget is small, but these big companies who are working this, you can believe that their funnels are enormous and they are extremely granular, and you could send them down a million different holes. I could run 3 or 4 different sequences, right? I can make sure running back rankings as the top of the funnel cold audience only. And then anyone who has seen 10 seconds is going to go to just the wide receiver rankings video. And none of this is gonna be for selling. And then anyone who's seen 25% of that goes to the tight end rankings video. And then anyone sees 25% of that goes to this, and then to that, and then to this. Basically just expands the cold part of the funnel, the medium part of the funnel, and the hot part of the funnel. But you obviously need a lot of money in order to run those things. Luckily for me, right, because it's so engaging, they have this metric on there that's relevance score. And it's from 1 to 10, and it kind of tells you just how good your ads are. And all of my ads are 9 or 10. And I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying it's because relevance score takes, I'm not sure what the exact equation is for it, but it takes in, engagement on your ads, how many people are, coinciding with your goal. If my goal is, right, when you set these up, when you set up a video ad, I could say I want the most amount of 10-second video views for the least price. And depending on how your ad does, right, if you're delivering really good results, that'll help the relevance score as well. So a lot of things go into it, but for the most part, all of my ads are 9 or 10, which means, right, at the end of the day, these companies want your ad experience. They understand that branding is more important than sales now, so they want the ad experience for users, like for someone who's personally on Facebook or Instagram, to be good. You don't want to see shitty ads that you like that aren't relevant to you and you don't care about. At the end of the day, like if someone scrolls across their Facebook feed and sees top 10 wide receiver rankings video, like there's a good chance you'll just enjoy that, because I'm not trying to sell you, it's just straight value, and you're like, okay, I like that ad, cool. So Facebook, anytime that you see an ad that you like or whatever, and you hit the like button, that tells Facebook, oh, people like this ad, let's show it to more people for a cheaper price, so that it scales more. So I'm luckily getting CPMs, cost per 1,000 impressions, for like $2. I think one of my ad sets is at like $1.60, which is not unheard of, but it's very difficult right now in how Facebook and Instagram is so saturated. So my CPMs are extremely low, which is good because my budget is really low. And I can't imagine if you're like a very small business, like a local business, it's probably pretty difficult to scale up successfully right now, just because it's coming saturated, but it's still the best marketing bang for your buck right now. So basically, right, I make these audiences. What I think I might do is actually make another audience where it's anyone who watched 3 seconds of one of these videos, but not 10 seconds of the video, and then reshoot them out one of those videos again. So it's like anyone who like kind of looked at the video for like 1, 2, 3, but didn't stay for 10 seconds. So they were like kind of intrigued, but not necessarily. Maybe I'll hit them with a different video to try to get them into the 10-second or the 25% video thing. But the IG story, they swipe up, it takes them to my YouTube. And you can't put a pixel on YouTube, unfortunately, so you can't track that. Again, this is just branding. It's just getting to know people, and I have to believe that that's gonna work in the long run. So we have these 3, and then that's going to a warm audience, where all I'm looking for is an email address. Anyone who fits these criteria, anyone who watched 10 seconds, or engaged with anything on the Instagram, they have officially become a warm audience because they know me, they know my brand. The next thing I'm doing is asking for an email address, very similar to how I talked about in the previous clip, where anyone who watched my YouTube video can click on the link below, takes them to a landing page, they fill out their email address, I get their email. Similar to this, I'm shooting out IG story ads, Facebook feed ads. I'm just testing one. I'm gonna see which is the winner, which platform is better for this. But it's very similar to the creative I use for this one, where it is the top 10 rankings, but the copy now says, rather than just being completely value-based, where it's like, watch this video to get to learn more about the analysis, this is more sales-based. This is more conversion-based, where I'm like, here's the top 10. If you want to get the top 25, click learn more, and that will allow you to fill out your email address and your name. And Facebook has a product, or this tactic that they have that you can set up called lead gen, where it doesn't even take them to a landing page. It takes them right, a little form pops up right on Facebook, and it's auto-filled because Facebook has their information already, where it has their name and their email address. They put it in, and then you get it as the user. So to anyone who has gone from the cold audience into here, has turned into a warm audience, I ask for their email address. Now, I don't really have any products or services to add, but I will be using, and the best part is because, like I said, it's very cheap for me. The CPMs are very low. It costs me about, I think it's 2 cents to get a 10-second video view. So we have already, within the last like 2 weeks, been able to rack up a warm audience of, I believe it's, I'll check real quick, hold on, between 2,000 and 3,000 people, and about 25 to 30 email leads costing like 75 cents a lead, which is really good because I've run lead generation campaigns before for clients, and it's very, very difficult to get 75-cent leads right now. So that's really good. I just wish I had a little bit more budget to put behind this, because I can't, you know, I can't do that without getting any revenue in return, which will come later in the summer. I know that, just have to be patient. Eventually, yeah, I'm gonna keep running these ads and keep building a warm audience, and probably make a more, you know, refined funnel, so that, you know, when I do create my draft guide, when I do create these products or services to sell, right, I have the email. And this is all, like, Facebook and Instagram is not what makes a business run, it's part of the business. The goal right here, right, is to get the email address so then I can sell them via email marketing. Right? It's all a cycle, and you can't have one piece without the other. It's email marketing, it's organic social, it's paid social, it's branding, it's customer communication. It's all of these things wrapped in one. Like, you can't just set up a business tomorrow, expect to run Facebook and Instagram ads, and it work. Like, what happens if you get an email address? What are you gonna do with it? You don't have any email marketing service, or you don't have any experience in doing that. It's all, you know, a giant fucking circle that you need to know all the parts of it. And that's what running a business is. That's what, in 2019, that is what running a business is knowing these parts. It's not about being a fucking good butcher. It's about owning a butcher shop, but understanding how to create creative that tells people you're a great butcher shop, or tells people what your values are as a butcher shop, communicating that with a clear creative on a platform where people's eyeballs are. That's as simple as I can put it for y'all. I'll make a warm audience of only email addresses, and maybe make a lookalike audience off that, put those people back into here, and then the email address, they will get ads for the draft guide. I listen to a lot of marketing podcasts, and a lot of them will be like top 10 reasons why your Facebook ads aren't working. And for the most part, they do a lot of technical, like, oh, because you're not doing this or that or whatever. And I think it's bad advice. I think when it comes down to it, selling and advertising is all about the psychology and being able to communicate with the person. In my opinion, the creative, the video, and I've talked about this on my channel, it has to give value in one of three ways. It has to be informational, it has to be motivational, or it has to be entertaining. Has to give value through one of those three ways. That will work, because if you give value, people are going to share that video, right? And that's going to end up maybe going viral or whatever. And the copywriting is just so important. And you have to understand that different people buy things in different ways. Some people are impulse purchasers. Some people take, you know, a month to purchase, and you can see all that information within Facebook. So you have different audience members. Not every person is the same. So you have to understand that your audience, if I make a cold audience of 3,000 people, that audience itself is broken into 10 different types of purchasers, right? So 10 different types of purchasers and 10 different people who are gonna react differently to different creatives. So when I make this draft guide creative, the video, I'm probably going to have 3 different types of copy. It's gonna say 3 different things, and I'm gonna shoot out to different people. And it's also probably gonna have 3 different videos. Because if you just rely on one video, it's not gonna work. It's gonna work for maybe 10% of people, but you're leaving 90% of people on the board who will react and purchase if you show them something else that made them, you know, pop or made them go or whatever. So I hope that was informative, but that's really what it comes down to. It's looking at marketing in 2019 and realizing that it's not about selling. At the end of the funnel, when you get down here, and it's a funnel because it gets smaller and smaller, obviously, right? You have a lot more people here, a lot less people that will give their email address, and then a lot less people of that will actually purchase something from you. So it's about knowing that it's a process, and it's a story, and it's a relationship at the end of the day, right? It's not about trying to sell people. And the minute you try to do that is the minute that you're going to fail, because in today, branding is selling. You brand yourself well, and that just comes as a natural cause of being who you are and showing the values behind your company or who you are as a person. That will resonate with people. Thus, they will want to purchase from you because you've actually stood out in a world today that's so fucking noisy. That's all I got for you today. I'm not feeling good. I'm gonna drink my coffee. I'm gonna edit up this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you did. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. We do these vlogs bi-weekly on Wednesdays, so the next vlog will be coming out on March 6th. It'll be a good one because I'm heading to Florida in 2 days. I'm going to Orlando, so we'll hit the Universal theme parks. I'm going to visit my grandparents, so y'all will see some video clips with my shirt off. This is good. No one gives a fuck because my audience is 99% male probably. So Florida, that'll be good. Yeah, so the next vlog should be fun. And then I move into the new apartment like 3-ish weeks from that. I'll keep y'all updated about fucking housewarming party. Y'all are coming. I might invite y'all, to be honest. That's it. I'll see y'all next time.